Welcome to Engineering Success Profile Editions with our very special guest, Krystina Pearson-Rampeearee. Hi, Krystina. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Hi. Can we start with what route did you take into engineering?
Yes, so I chose to study a master's degree in aerospace systems engineering at the University of the West of England in Bristol after I did maths, physics and chemistry for my A-levels at school in Liverpool.
Yeah. So why did you become involved in flight systems engineering then?
I didn't actually know that existed until I started applying for jobs. It's not something I planned. So I was working in Oxfordshire after university for a company designing novel aircraft interior systems, and I wanted to move back up north. So I started applying for jobs at BAE Systems, and one of them was a flight systems engineer role, which I got luckily.
So what does that role actually entail? I mean, I've never heard of it before myself. So what is it you actually do?
So it's quite a multidisciplinary role. So I'm involved in the whole of the engineering life cycle. So I'll be involved in design, specification, development, testing, safety, and through life support of equipment. So all the way through to once it's on aircraft.
Right.
And afterwards.
So are they all the projects that you're involved in? Is it just all aircraft projects?
Yes, so I've been lucky enough to be part of a range of projects in the past. So I've worked on the hydraulic system for the plane, or using fluid to move the surfaces, the hydraulic system. And I've also worked on helmets and flight suits for the pilots.
Right, okay.
My current project is probably my most exciting project, which is working on the next generation of combat aircraft.
Oh, right,
so
okay.
looking at technology which could be used on a next generation combat aircraft, which means I get to research and look at things for the future, which is really exciting.
Yeah, I can imagine, yeah. So what's the most challenging part of your job?
I would probably say the most challenging part is because I'm involved in a lot of different aspects of the life cycle. It's making sure everything's planned for, which can be a challenge sometimes, especially if there's something urgent that comes in from a customer, some support that's needed. So that's probably the most challenging thing, just making sure everything's planned in.
Yeah. So what's therefore the most rewarding part of your job?
Probably seeing equipment that I've overseen the development of being fitted onto an aircraft and flown, and also I've been able to sit in an aircraft and test the equipment that I've been working on, which has been really cool.
Yeah. So if I was looking to work in the aerospace industry, what companies would I be best sort of like looking out for?
So there are lots of companies in the aerospace industries, from big companies like BAE Systems, Airbus, to smaller companies. I'd probably suggest searching on LinkedIn would be a good way to find companies that are out there.
Yeah. So do you think it'd be worth approaching companies? You know, if I was a graduate, or if I wanted an apprenticeship, do you think it's good to make the first move and actually, approach companies and say, you're interested in this sort of thing?
I think it would be. I think it shows that you're keen, and you might get pointed to a job that they have an open vacancy for, and you never know unless you try.
Yeah. So the routes into aerospace, obviously graduates, I guess, and apprenticeships. Can you explain a bit more about both of those routes that say BAE use in the company?
Yeah, so there are so many different ways into aerospace engineering. Apprenticeships, industrial placements, graduate schemes. I was direct entry, so I didn't necessarily go on any of those schemes, but they're all easy to find on the internet, and you can contact the companies to find out more information as well.
Yeah, so do companies have like a quota of people that they want to recruit, like say apprenticeships against graduates, or would you just put yourself forward at any time to these companies?
I think companies do have an amount of, for example, apprentices that they want to take on in a certain year. So it's good to look at what schemes they're offering, when their opening dates are, and when they're doing interviews, so you can plan in for when you want to apply for a scheme.
So what advice would you give to a future flight systems engineer or an aerospace engineer?
Yeah, I'm not sure if there are many people who know about flight systems engineering who want to be one, but I would advise to speak to a current flight systems engineer, ask questions. It's always good to ask questions. Have a look at what companies you're interested in applying to, maybe globally as well, that you're interested in applying for, whether they offer any schemes, and just keep aware of what they're up to. And networking is really important as well.
Yeah. So how would you sell your job to a graduate of a flight systems engineer? Because I'd never heard of it. So how would you sell that position?
I think because to sell it, it's because it is such a multidisciplinary role. I get to be involved in every aspect of the life cycle of a piece of equipment. I get to liaise with other departments such as aerodynamics, structures, design, to ensure that the equipment that I'm developing meets everyone's criteria. I get to do so much, so it's great. It varies every day. I don't get bored. I get to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
So that's how I would sell it.
So more generally now speaking, you know, obviously it can be a crowded marketplace and people want to stand out. Do you have any tips that could help maybe someone's CV stand out, you know, if they were applying for a role?
Yeah, I would say make sure your personality comes across, so that the company can see you in your CV, and also to highlight any interests that might be relevant to the job that you're applying for. That'd be a really good tip that I'd give. Yeah.
And what about tips in an interview? Obviously, it can be quite daunting having an interview, especially at a big prestigious company.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, with leaders. Have you got any tips that you used and that you could share?
Yeah, so I researched the company before my interview and the job role, read up on what they had available on their website, show enthusiasm, genuine interest, and also that show that you've considered your career path.
Yeah.
And also if you can give good examples of balancing work-life situations, that's also good. Time management examples. Also just take a deep breath, take your time, and don't rush yourself.
Yeah. And just finally, I know you do a lot of work out of your day job promoting engineering. Do you think everybody should do
that? I believe it's really rewarding to volunteer and give time and try and encourage and inspire the next generation of engineering. And I think it's really good to give something back. So I would recommend everyone to do it, yeah.
Krystina, that's it. Thank you so much for your time.
Great. Thank you.